They're in a decent position, the three midfield players. It then goes long. Ben White wins a challenge again against Harry Kane, we should say. Harry Kane, not at the races. Really not acceptable, his performance in that game. He got bullied by Ben White. But straight away, where's Dele Alli going? What is he thinking to make that run into that position? We'll just highlight him there. And when the ball drops down, you now find yourself, for the first time, running at the Tottenham back four because of where the ball landed. They got away with it after 10 seconds. They got away with it after a minute. Now, after 12 minutes, they don't. They're not running back. Højbjerg and Ndombele. Dele Alli does actually okay, maybe to get back as he was higher up the pitch.
But you've still got to take this moment, haven't you, when you get that opportunity presented to you?
Especially on a derby day. But you talked about the moon, Jamie. That was like the Champs-Élysées. It was just the best avenue that you can ever see. And we talked about the Spurs, obviously, and what they did. But Bukayo Saka took nothing away from Emile Smith-Rowe. And now they wanted to go there. And now they wanted to put the ball in the back of the net. Yes, we can talk about Lucas Moura that didn't come back. We can talk about Dele Alli. But the desire was there right from the start from Arsenal.
And the second one, which comes right from the goalkeeper.
Well, I will stop it now and highlight Odegaard right there, saying to his strikers to stay high. Why? Jamie just talked about it. Look at this. That's why I talked about the Champs-Élysées. Like, if you play in a game like that, like if that ball, if they come out and they're successful passing you, you have acres of space. You should have at least a guy right there trying to shield something. They're not shielding anything. They went for it. Obviously, they were 1-0 down. I got a little run. And now, obviously, they win it. Xhaka win it. They turn. Højbjerg is complaining, and I will stop it again here. Jamie, you here as a defender. The first thing, I will actually use this one to say it a bit better. Davinson Sanchez. You have to delay at that particular moment. You cannot dive in. You don't have to always win the ball back to defend well. Van Dijk is one of the best at doing that. Do not dive in. It's a virtual, not a virtual. It is now a 4v3, as you can see. I don't have to highlight the Spurs player. They are in white. I'm going to let it run. He goes. Now, you're out of position. You're never going to catch Smith-Rowe. He has a look. He sees Aubameyang. And if Aubameyang doesn't score, Odegaard, hopefully, would have scored. And then you find yourself in a situation out of, I would say, I do not understand what happened. I was happy about it, don't get me wrong. But you're 2-0 down just like that.
And the third one summed it up with Harry Kane stumbling on the ball.
Yeah, listen, he fell over the ball. That can happen. But the setup of Spurs, again, with the midfield. Watch Harry Kane now. He's on the ball. OK, falls over, he makes a mistake. There's Ndombele, there's Dele Alli. It's just bizarre watching it. It's unbelievable. But Thierry, the third goal.
Again, they were at the horses, on the way. That's the worst thing that can happen to anyone, Jamie. As you know, at that moment, that 1v1, Bukayo Saka is coming. And I have to say, Harry Kane a lot of credit, because he lost the ball, and as you know, when you lose the ball, you want to come back and try to recover it. Dyer delays it as much as he can. Harry Kane does ever so well to come back, as we know. But then the rest is history. 3-0 Arsenal. It was too open. They were too open. That wasn't how you're supposed to play a derby. They were too open in midfield.
They've won 3 to start the season. They've lost 3 under Nuno. How do you assess it 6 games in?
That was a bad one yesterday for Nuno. Not just losing a derby game. It was a bad one. And you're never going to talk about managers after 5 or 6 games in a job. But Nuno's a good manager. He proved that at Wolves. And what I hope is, he's still got new players to come in, but what I hope is he's actually himself in his job now. He's seen as a pragmatic coach, a defensive coach. But what I would say is, they weren't pragmatic enough in this game. And I don't know if that comes because of, I'm at Tottenham now. People are saying I'm defensive, I've got to play more on the front foot. Be yourself. And how long you stay in the job, but at least be yourself. It almost like that wasn't his type of team. And It doesn't feel like a perfect fit, I must say that. On the back of Jose Mourinho, it almost feels like Jose Mourinho light. And that's not a criticism of the manager. Jose Mourinho's won everything in the game. And what I just hope is, and I've seen this before at one time at my own club with Roy Hodgson. Roy Hodgson was a really good manager, and he is a really good manager, but he wasn't the right manager for Liverpool. And there's no doubt, I think the Spurs supporters even early on now thinking, is Nuno a Tottenham manager? And that's something that remains to be seen. He needs to bring his signings in. It's very early in the season. But my advice to sort of Nuno and his coaching staff was, be yourself and do the job that you think, whether that's going to a back five, whether it's being more defensive, do what you do well. Because right now at the moment, they're doing nothing going forward. They're the worst in the league for XG and chances created. But they're also open and look like they could get absolutely ripped apart every game. We saw this at Palace, we saw the second half at Chelsea, and that first half was absolutely unbelievable to watch.
Bloody nose for Spurs.